statement on the three guys that are no longer Ticats?
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult process, like I'm sure it was for other teams, and good players and guys that we hate to see go, but we wish them well. In particular, Marwan, who's been a great player for us, for this team, a great ambassador for this team, all the things that everybody already knows. But we had to make decisions, right? That was not just for the present, but also for the future for this football team, and it's a real credit to, which I've said before, to what I inherited as far as our Canadian content, that they've done such a great job here in building that content, and especially with the younger players that we're pretty high on, and so we had to make tough decisions, and we move on.
Did you speak to any or all of them?
I've called them all. Yeah, I've talked to Chevy, JD. Voicemail wasn't set up. I haven't been able to reach him, and I've left word with Marwan, and haven't heard back.
Walker, was he? For him, it's probably a good move. I mean, he'll get probably more opportunity in Ottawa than he might have gotten here, given CJ's performance. I mean, did he talk about being happy to be going?
Yeah, we had a great conversation. I mean, I've got a good relationship with Siobhan, and he was excited about the opportunity, and like I will tell the other guys too, in any way that we can help you and anything we can do for you. Or you just want to call and just talk. Not that they will, but they've all got my number and other coaches' numbers, and we're here to, we're here for them.
If you had to, and I realize that there's a lot of time between now and training camp, but right now, two mainstaying guys off your long time off your offensive line, with obviously Peter won't be ready to start the season, and Marwan. How do you look at that?
The obvious answer is we're pretty high on our young players, and we have a few that we believe are going to be very good players for us, and it's time to build into those young players. Like I said, I have a responsibility not just for today, but also for the future for this organization, and we're pretty deep with our Canadian content, and we like our young players, and so we decided to go that route.
Did you expect the Red Blacks to take Marwan, and was it a risk to put him out there? I mean,
we didn't. You don't ever know, so that didn't really factor into our planning. Obviously, we tried to do some mock selections, but you just don't know what they're thinking, right? Like I told you guys before, how they evaluate might not be exactly how we evaluate, et cetera, right? And so we knew there were going to be picks possibly that were surprises, and others that might not be. It just depends on your perspective, but we couldn't let that factor into how we planned, right? We had to do what we felt like was best for the football team, regardless of who got picked.
Marwan's been the face of this franchise for 10 years, been active in the community. Do those things at all play a role in your decision making?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes it difficult, right? And I'm not going to lie. I mean, obviously, I'm very fond of Marwan, and as are others, in this organization. That being said, I have a responsibility to build this team according to what we believe as a staff and as a football organization. We feel like it's the right thing to do, and but it's going to be tough to see him go. He's been a great player and a good person, and I care for him a lot.
Kent, you referred to a coach wanting to win today and a GM wanting to win tomorrow. How difficult was that battle between Kent the coach and Kent the GM?
It's not easy. I mean, you have to try your best with good counsel around you. And the good news is I've got a lot of good guys around me that give me great counsel, that I trust, both on the personnel side, on the coaching side, to try to strike a proper balance, in that regard. And like I said, I think that one thing, looking from the outside in, you might not agree with everything that we do, but I can tell you to a man on this staff, it's done from the heart and with the best interest of the organization in mind. That's our only focus, in trying to build a competitive football team that can challenge for championships. Not that we'll win them, but can challenge for them, year in and year out. That's our job to do.
Looking at the guys that potentially could step up on that O-line, O'Neill we've had in the past, Filer's there. Mo Petrus is a guy that was drafted in the past that may be potential to step in.
Right now, I would say the probability of that's very low, but there's others. All right, Rock Hill, Landon Rice, Reinders. I mean, we have a good core of young players that are very athletic, that have worked really, really hard Has been a year with us, a year in the system, a year in the weight room, with a strength conditioning coach. Guys that we're pretty high on.
So I'm trying to play in my mind here. Besides Timmy, who else could take snaps there among the guys you have now that you would feel okay
We
about
have
putting
we
in?
have Fowler, we have
Fowler.
Voigt that can snap. There's plenty of options there.
Was there one or two guys that you were thinking, well, I'm glad they were not taken?
Well, I didn't want anybody taken. I'm just being honest. I didn't want anybody taken. I'm sure we were like every other team in the league. You spend a year building into these players, into your system, into the culture that you try to establish as a team, all the above. And so seeing any of them go is not good, right? We understand that it was inevitable. And like I said, we made decisions that we felt like was best for the team. And but I didn't sit there and go, well, I hope they don't pick this guy or I hope they don't pick that guy. I mean, we knew we were going to lose good football players. Other teams in the league have lost good football players, if you look today. So we're not the only one in that boat.
They're a division rival. I mean, have you studied what they've done in this today? Have you sort of come to?
No, we studied it as it was happening. I mean, and we'll study it more as we go forward.
What's
But
your first impression?
I think they got some good football players. Yeah.
See how it plays out.
Outside of that, I don't. What they do with them, how they're trying to configure the ratio, all that kind of stuff, is just pure speculation at this point.
When you drafted CO Prime, you mentioned at the time that there was a possibility of looking at him as a potential fullback. Now that Delahunt's been taken, is there a possibility that you'll move forward with that plan?
Yes.
Okay. And did you already speak to him at the end of the year about potentially?
No.
Okay.
No. We have lots of players that, as we see the complexion of our football team, as it plays out with free agency, new signings, all the above, right? Or extensions of contracts will determine the impact of how we configure the puzzle.
Speaking of that, with free agency, I mean, you may not know what your salary cap is. Well, you won't know by the time you start. How weird's that going to be for a GM?
Well, we're operating off of 4-4.
You're just going to operate off.
Well, that's the only number we have.
Right. Okay.
There is no other number.
And then everything is a bonus after that, I guess, or maybe not.
Well,
not even.
yeah, I mean, there's no number firm but that number.
Right.
So to speculate on another number, I think is irresponsible.
Now that this draft is over, what's the next priority for you moving forward in the off season?
Well, free agency, is obviously the next priority.
Is it re-signing your potential free agents? Is that
All
part
the
of
above?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it may be re-signing guys that are going into their final year. So it's not just current free agents, but guys that'll be a free agent a year from now. So it's and then you go into the Canadian draft, and it's the same processes.
Have there been any discussions with Henry Burris or his agents at this point?
There was during the football season. There haven't been up to after the season because we've been focused on the expansion draft.
Now that it's over, will you be
Yeah,
looking?
there will be. Yeah.
Is he priority number one?
I mean, I wouldn't rank a prioritization list, but he's certainly discussions that we want to have.
You want back. I mean, right. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, but I'm realistic to understand, right, that I have seen players hit free agency before signing that don't come back. So I can't guarantee anything as it relates to free agents. I can't guarantee anything as far as acquiring free agents from around the league. There was opportunity to get it done before. It didn't happen, and so I can't tell you that he won't go to free agency. I don't know that right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you do want him back. That's your.
Well, I'm going to keep open every opportunity because I don't know the known. Right, there aren't known facts right now as it relates to any of our free agents, and what they're thinking, what they're doing, what they want to do, what they want to explore. That attitude may change, depending upon what we get back, and that's exactly right with respect to discussions, and it may move us in another direction. It may not.
Now that this expansion draft is over, when you look at it, do you feel okay with how it turned out? Was there a worst case scenario in your mind that you're sort of like, okay, well,
No, I'm not okay with it.
Okay.
I'm being honest. I'm not okay with it. I like the players that we lost. I'm not going to change on that. You know, I'm fond of those guys, and but it is what it is. You know, and we move on and we build our football team. We continue to build what we're trying to build here, and we'll get that done.
You had a long season, longer than most teams. You went right into the expansion draft. Will you take some time off now to enjoy Christmas, maybe New Year's, and then get back to work in the new year? Or does it, tomorrow is another work day for you guys?
Well, no, I mean, I'll take some time off during the holidays, or, you know, I might not have a wife going forward. So, we'll do that. But I mean, there's a lot of work to do, right? We're not going to sit pat on anything. You know, we're going to look at every single area of the organization on the football upside to get better. And so that's a lot of work.
Has it been, since you took this job, knowing full well, obviously, that there was going to be a lot more work than there was just being the head coach, has it been more than you expected? Has it been everything you expected and hoped for?
I think like any other job that you take, some of the things were expected and panned out that way, and other things were surprises. But I knew that going in. It wasn't going to be exactly what I thought, and you just adapt and try to grow in your job and get better, right, and help the organization get better.
What do you think you learned this season, or how did you develop either as a coach or as a general manager?
Oh, I hope I learned a lot. I've got a lot to learn, and I don't think you ever arrive in any area. I don't believe that, and I think you should constantly pursue getting better and perfecting your craft as much as you can, and doing right by the opportunity that you were given, right, and for the organization, and to make tough calls like today and other calls that might be tough going forward, to improve the football team.